gutting for all those people that were going to go to those 3 nights of Taylor Swift concerts across Austria, and also what they can do for the Austrian economy as well would have been fantastic.
Absolutely.
But you wouldn't go to those concerts with the prior knowledge that there could be a plot unfolding. Hello and welcome to the meeting room. I'm Holly Patrick.
And I'm Paul Harvey.
And today we are going to be talking about what's been happening in the events industry. Paul, what have we been chatting about? What's been going on?
Well, there's been a few things, hasn't there? I think venue security has been up there. I think that has been kind of floating around in the ether. Taylor Swift has had her Vienna concerts cancelled on police advice. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be gutted for all the Swifties that can't go and swap all their friendship bracelets and whatever they do. I don't understand that. But sorry, no offense to the Swifties. You don't want to anger the Swifties.
Absolutely not. That's not the intention of this podcast.
Yeah, no, we're talking about venue security. So yeah, no, the police in Vienna cancelled that because they uncovered a terrorist plot. And also we've had general kind of like unease on the streets of the UK. And obviously it's kind of worrying for event organisers that this is kind of going around, because there's nothing more important to an event organiser than delegate safety, and crucially that delegates feel safe.
Absolutely. And like you say, it's gutting for all those people that were going to go to those 3 nights of Taylor Swift concerts across Austria, and also what they can do for the Austrian economy as well would have been fantastic.
Absolutely.
But you wouldn't go to those concerts with the prior knowledge that there could be a plot unfolding, or that there's been a sense of, a terrorism plot. So those organisers have absolutely made the right decision to say, we're not going ahead with this tour. We're not going to even give them a platform, an opportunity to let something else unfold here. And do you think we're seeing that more in the UK, obviously with Martyn's law that's coming into force?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Martyn's law, because obviously that will require large venues to put measures in place to tackle terror threats. I mean, Martyn's law has been kind of percolating for a good long while now. If anyone doesn't know what Martyn's law is, it's named after the 29-year-old Martyn Hett, who was one of the 22 victims of the 2017 Manchester Arena attack. And his mother, an amazing woman called Figan Murray, she's been campaigning for change since 2019, so it's been going on for 5 years now, working with campaigners, meeting government officials, and she's even been awarded the OBE for her efforts. She even walked 200 miles from Manchester down to London to meet Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister as was, to talk about Martyn's law and get it on the statute books. And it was included in the Queen's speech in 2022, but for one reason or another, there was a bit of kind of government turmoil, basically, and change. And it never quite made it into legislation. But now it was in the King's speech in July, just when Labour came in, they put it in. Keir Starmer's committed to it. And so there's a genuine feeling that this will come into effect now, and it will require venues to tackle the terror threat.
I, for one, when I go to sort of any new venue, or perhaps even a venue I've been to before, it could be something like a restaurant. I feel like I'm more on high alert. Things like escape routes, where would I go if something was to happen? And that's because we live on social media. We live with the headlines as they are at the moment. So you kind of have this feeling of maybe a slight threat all the time. So for me, whether I'm going to a concert, whether I'm attending a conference like we do all the time in this industry, knowing that the people running that venue and running that event have thought of, let's say, every sort of threat imaginable, and maybe have a plan A, B, and C for that as well, makes me feel so much more assured and so much safer in that venue.
Well, Martyn's law, it requires venues to basically improve security and provide online training for venue staff, and it requires all venues to have a counter-terrorism plan. So that will reassure, hopefully, delegates that, and when we are wandering around large venues at events, because this is for all, basically it's over 800 people at the large venues.
Am I right in thinking it's 2-tiered?
There's two tiers, So there's standard tier, which is 100 to 799, and then there's enhanced tier for over 800, and that will be like the highest level of security that they'll have to undertake. But yeah, no, like you say, when you're wandering around, it will be a great
comfort almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. To know that that's there and that is in place. But they just need to get it on the books, basically, and they need to get it through Parliament. And so then venues can get on with doing it, because at the moment we're in a weird situation where we know it's coming, but it's actually not there yet. So it'll be good when that actually goes through.
It's not quite enforceable yet.
It's not quite yet. No, there isn't a set date for when it's going to go through Parliament. But Figan Murray said she said that this time it feels very different. So if she's saying that, hopefully it's going to go through.
The King's mentioned it, so that carries some precedence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about big events, big brilliant events, we have come off the back of the Meeting Show 2024.
Oh, what a
this
show!
Year back in June, wasn't it just? There was a lot going on.
There was, and you did a really great piece. You went round and talked to everyone about fashion and style and what they're wearing.
Who doesn't love talking about fashion?
Everyone loves talking about fashion.
Everyone loves talking about fashion, especially when you start the conversation or start the question with a compliment. Love what you're wearing. Tell us more about it. Yeah, so this year, me and Anna-Marie Trubinsky, who runs AMT Events and Styling, walked the show floor at the Meeting Show. And we just stopped delegates. We stopped people on the stands and just said, tell us about your conference style. Tell us about how you dress to feel confident. Tell us about where you shop. And people loved it. That we didn't have one single person that said, oh no, I don't feel comfortable doing this. You know, we even got a few 12s and it was fantastic. And really what we were picking up on from that, the theme of the piece that we put out on social media and then we did a write-up for it as well, is that people no longer have a work wardrobe which is full of pantsuits or skirt suits or suits and high heels for mostly for the ladies, and then a leisure weekend after work wardrobe. They're combined now. Yeah. So that's a wardrobe that carries your personality through. You have that flair. And that is what a lot of people said made them feel confident, which was just lovely to hear.
Yeah. Absolutely. What were your favourite bits about that?
I think it was definitely how willing people were to talk about it. I really thought we were going to get some pushback because we're at the Meeting Show. We're there to do business. That we're there to be talking about events and destinations and venues and everything else in between. So this is off the agenda really. But I mean, we'll put the link. I'll put the link to the piece and the socials on it in this episode, in the description of this episode. But there were some fantastic outfits. The one that sticks out for me is Chloe Smith from Custard Communications. Just had this really beautiful pink dress on, had like a ditzy print on it. And she just said that her style was simple, feminine, and on trend. And it's like, that's fantastic. Everybody can relate to that. We also spoke to Mark Green from the QE2 Centre, and he was very, I wouldn't say he was shy. He was very, I think he was, well, how can I say this? Flattered to be asked, because in his words, he said, oh, I don't think I'm fashionable. He said, I just go with the flow. But he was dressed impeccably. And anybody who knows Mark Green, which I think is a lot of people in this industry, will know that he always looks very, very smart in the way that he dresses. But one thing that he said is that before the pandemic, a lot of people were dressing three-piece suits, him included, very, very smart, heels, shiny shoes and all of that. And he said now there's a lot of younger people coming into the industry who are a little bit more casual, and the pandemic has made us all a little bit more casual in what we're wearing as well. Style doesn't have to be discomfort anymore. And he said that he wants to reflect the younger people that are coming into the industry, and also his clients who are more casual. So he doesn't want to turn up to a client meeting in a three-piece suit if they're sort of, in a collarless shirt, for example, which you're styling today, which looks fantastic. It was a really, really fun piece, and we're definitely going to expand on that. So get ready with your style.
I think that's the thing. Everyone wants to talk about what they're wearing. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And like I say, it's the confidence piece, and it's your personality poking through. So it makes sense that you would want to speak about that, as opposed to, for example, let's say my mum's generation. My mum worked at IBM for years and years and years, and she just had a whole wardrobe full of kind of black and brown suits, and that was it. That's not her personality. That's not her style at all. But that was the expectation, and now that expectation has shifted.
I think COVID is a big kind of effect. COVID had a big effect on it, basically. And we are a lot more casual now because we got into kind of, sitting in our pajamas over Zoom for like a couple of years. But I don't know if that's just it, but I've noticed conference trainers. Everyone's wearing trainers these days.
What conference trainers are you referring to? Because I have seen some very snazzy branded conference trainers. Is that what you're talking about? Or you're just talking generally, like
Just
people
generally,
wearing?
people wearing trainers. When I started out in this industry, like more than a decade ago, people wouldn't wear trainers, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I started 5 years ago, just before the pandemic, and it was very much you either wore little heels, or sort of like for women, flat pumps, something like that. But I think now, the spectrum of a smart shoe, of smart trainer, is so broad now. And you see a lot of replicas. I see a lot of people, myself included, wearing the platform Russell and Bromley, other shoe brands available, shoes to conferences and events, and even evening dinners. Because if you're getting the train, for example, up to London, and then you've got to walk for a mile to get to the venue, do you want to be doing that in stilettos? Do you want to be wasting money on a taxi on a nice summer's evening because you don't want to walk in your heels? So I feel like it's a lot more accepted to do that now. I would say, and people might not agree with me, that it's become more accepted for females to wear trainers. I haven't seen as many guys in the industry wearing trainers. Is that an assumption?
That could be right. No, I think because it's such a female-dominated industry as well. Kind of like you just see a lot more women around events.
That's very true, actually. Yeah.
But also, I think like what men wear is kind of like a big thing as well, because it used to be that men would just wear suits. If it's formal, you wear suits, and now we're a lot more casual. So like you say, I'm wearing this shirt with a is it a grandpa collar? Is it a granddad collar?
Is that what it's called?
I think it might be, yeah. But I'm wearing it because it's comfortable and sustainable.
And smart.
Yeah. But also, like, do you want to hear my fact about suits?
Yes, please.
So suit jackets, because obviously everyone thinks it's like a suit, like as the ultimate kind of like expression of kind of, what men wear for business, basically. But a suit itself is a skirted item, a suit jacket, because like the suit round the bottom, it has flaps.
Yeah. That's
in tailoring terms, that's a skirt.
Right.
And so a suit jacket technically is a skirted item. So it's technically, if you button it up, it's a mini dress that buttons at the front with long arms. And that's what it is. And so when you see someone wearing a suit, they're technically wearing a mini dress with long arms.
That is absolutely fantastic. So everybody who's wearing a suit, let's say to the meeting show next year.
We think of it as this paragon of kind of like male kind of business dress, whereas, yeah,
You're in a mini dress.
Yeah.
You're in a mini dress. And you know what? You look great. That is all I'll be thinking about at the M&IT Awards later in September.
I dare you to tell Donald Trump that he's wearing a mini dress.
Oh, let's now get on to that. Talking of the M&IT Awards, Paul, what are you going to be wearing?
I'm going to be wearing a mini dress. No, I need to get my suit to the cleaners actually, because that is black tie, and some events you just have to. I know we changed a lot, but some events you just have to go straight down the line, black tie. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
Although that said, I do have a bow tie, and it's actually technically it's blue, but I had it made specially at my local bow tie atelier.
Which every town probably has, right?
Oh, that's How about you? Have you planned what you're wearing? Because I mean, like black tie, that's easy for us guys.
Yeah, for me, let's say, I don't know. I kind of have a collection of different dresses that I wear to different industry events. For me, again, comfort is key, because you're in it for a long time. You want to dance, you want to eat, you want to applaud, so comfort is key. But it will be a surprise for me and for everyone else on the night what I end up wearing. But yeah, maybe we could do a little follow up to the original article on that.
We should.
Let's see what people are wearing.
Absolutely, we'll be out there kind of. So anyone coming to the M&IT Awards, make sure you bring your A game, because you might get in our next conference fashion piece.
Yeah, you might get on M&IT.
Now, finally, I just wanted to touch on something else that we've been talking about in the sector. And it's just something I've noticed. It's kind of like a mini trend for mergers and acquisitions. And so there's been a couple of high-profile ones recently, most notably Identity's acquisition of Smile Group. And so they've come together under the name of the Human Network, which is a number of different agencies that have come together. But there's also Strata have just bought Trinity Event Solutions. And these are interesting because there's big names in there, the agencies, and big personalities as well. Kind of people know the people in charge of these companies. And essentially, they're becoming much bigger agencies, but all with like these different niches within them. And so they can offer a huge range of services to clients. Now, I interviewed Michael Geitzen of Identity about this. And when I spoke to him, he described it as boutique at scale, which I think is really interesting. And he was saying that basically that's what big brands want at the moment. When brands are looking for someone, they want to be able to they want that service, the service levels of a boutique agency, but they want to be able to do big events.
Yeah, so you're kind of taking away those limits and the boundaries of what an actual boutique agency can do. I think there are so many positives with acquisitions and mergers within the industry. I mean, one, it signifies growth. It signifies that the industry's on the up and that there's a thirst to do more and to grow as well. And also just the increased resources and expertise in the industry, because, and I know I don't want to go off point too much, but we talk a lot about keeping talent in the industry. And I think this is a way to nurture that when you have more resources, when you have more mentors that you can learn from when companies come together, when these agencies come together. So hopefully, for the most part, this is a really positive signal for the industry.
Yeah, because when you come together and suddenly you're part of a network and you've got this other agency, and it's like you can reach out to them and say, oh, how do we do this? Can we do that? Have we got someone there? We got an office there? And you grow, like you say, you grow your network, you grow your talent, you grow everything. And so I think it's positive, but it's just a trend that I've noticed at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot. We've written a lot about it a lot recently, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I know we did quite a few interviews on TMS TV back at the meeting show in June. It comes with their challenges as well, I guess. There's the risk of some talent in the industry being overlooked, people treading on each other's toes. Naturally, that's going to happen. We're a creative industry, and when all these creatives come together, then I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements. But I think positively, it is a really positive signal for the industry and for the growth of the industry.
Absolutely, and it'd be interesting to see where it goes going forward.
Yeah, well, stay up to date on M&IT and you will find out. Brilliant. Well, Paul, I think that's all we've got time for today.
Yeah.
It's been lovely catching up with you.
As ever, Holly.
And I look forward to seeing what tie you wear for the M&IT Awards.
Yeah, it'll be a big decision.
Catch you there.
See you.